Hi, hello, and welcome back to F1 Challenge Career Mode. My name is Mephisto, and today we're heading off to Europe for round 14 of the 99 Formula 1 season. Let's get started.
Just before the free practice session begins, let's take a quick look at the Drivers' Championship. Mika Hakkinen is running away with the Drivers' Championship. David Coulthard, second. Schumacher, third.
We are 4th, Irvine 5th, Hill 6th, Barichello 7th, Ralf Schumacher 8th, Diniz 9th, Fisichella 10th, Villeneuve 11th, Trulli and Gene share 12th, Burt 13th, Herbert 14th.
Well, that covers the drivers. Let's take a quick look at the constructors next. McLaren lead the Constructors' Championship and arrive here having finished a legendary 1-2 in the last race. Can they do it again? Ferrari are second. Jordan are third.
Stewart 4th, Prost 5th, Williams 6th, Benetton 7th, B.A.R 8th, Minardi 9th.
Located approximately 60 kilometers northwest of Koblenz, the Nürburgring combines short straights with a challenging combination of slow, medium and fast turns. Whilst the new Nürburgring pales into insignificance compared to the original Nordschleife circuit, the fatalities of yesteryear more than justify today's safety standards, which render the old 14-mile loop redundant.
After a pretty poor performance last week in Italy, we returned to Germany for the European Grand Prix in the hopes of finishing with a few points. Looking at the standings, it will be quite tough to get back up into third, however we will try to give it our best. But for now, let's see how we did in qualifying. Coming around for our first qualifying lap, we crossed the line with a time of 1 minute 24.898 seconds, placing us in 7th for the moment. And now, coming around for our second attempt, we crossed the line with a time of 1 minute 23.312 seconds, which places us in 18th. See you on the grid.
Hello there. Welcome to Europe for round 14 of the 1999 FIA Formula 1 World Championship. The weather, as so often is the case here, is just wonderful. Over 30 degrees and climbing. It's a fantastic day for Formula 1. Hakkinen first. Coulthard second. Michael Schumacher consistently outpaced his championship rival. He starts third. Irvine fourth. Damon Hill was consistently faster than his teammate. He starts fifth. Ralf Schumacher, 6th. Giancarlo Fisichella, 7th. Rubbens Barichello, 8th. Jacques Villeneuve, 9th. Johnny Herbert, 10th. Minardi, 11th. Pedro Diniz, 12th. Alexander Wurz, 13th. Jarno Trulli, 14th. Alesi, 15th. Panis, 16th. Ricardo Zonta, 17th. The Jordan driver, 18th. De La Rosa, 19th. Luca Badoa, 20th. Gene, 21st. Tora Takagi, 22nd.
So here we are now on the grid, ready to start off the race and score ourselves some points, otherwise we won't be able to climb back up into third. And we're off, this time with a pretty decent start, and we'll be looking to gain a few positions into this first corner of the race. We've already climbed up 3 positions and we'll try to pass Trulli next. And as we approach the corner, Trulli smacks into the rear of Pedro Diniz. That was quite scary. That could have easily gone wrong in so many ways. So let's take another look at the start. At first, everything goes well. Everyone pulls away and it seems like a standard start. And everything seemed to be going well. But as we approach the first turn, Trulli hits Diniz, causing him to fly into the air, almost hitting us as well. And here is another look from Wurz's point of view. Trulli fails to brake in time and hits Diniz. But back to the race now. We've gotten ahead of Trulli and Diniz, and now our teammate is stuck in first gear. So we shall try and take full advantage of this situation and gain as many positions as possible. This event plays beautifully into our favor. We've just passed Minardi and we'll try to get around Herbert next. We pass him and Villeneuve. Next we have Barichello. But Villeneuve gets back in front of us as we exit the corner. So we'll try to use his slipstream to gain a bit more speed, allowing us to take back that position. And as we approach the chicane, we catch sight of Hill, who is holding up everyone behind. But we managed to take full advantage of this and gain a lot of positions. But as we exit the corner, Fisichella flies past us, but we are now up in P7, just what we need right now. So let's see if we can pass the Benetton, which would put us in the points. But now, let's have a look at what happened to Jean Alesi. As we can see, he hits his teammate who was too slow due to the accident at the beginning of the race. Anyway, let's see if we can catch up to Fisichella, who is around a second ahead. A bit later on, we indeed catch up to him and go for the pass, placing us in P6 and in the points, where we should be. And on lap 4, we catch up to Ralf Schumacher and challenge him for 5th. We try to take the outside line, but that doesn't work for us. But we will try again, this time taking the inside line. He slows down a bit more than us, and we get ahead of him, and we are now 5th. Next up is Eddie Irvine. Later on, we catch up to the Ferrari of Eddie Irvine and we pass him easily, and we are now up in 4th. But on lap 6, we have to make a pit stop for fuel and tires. So let's see where we'll end up once we rejoin the track. And we can hear Fisichella in the background as he is also coming in for a stop. Hopefully we'll be able to go before he does. With the car off the jacks, we are ready to rejoin the race. We spent 13.2 seconds on the jacks, which allows Fisichella to exit ahead of us. So we'll have to find an opportunity to overtake him as soon as possible. And as we exit the pit lane, Panis catches up from behind and gets in front. A couple of turns later, we attempt to overtake Panis, but we slightly clip the rear of his car. So I back up in order to avoid a more serious collision. But as we come around to finish lap 7, Panis decides to pit, and so we gain a position without too much of a hassle. However, we are still far from where we were before we had to pit, so we'll have to push quite a bit to get back into 4th. And just as we pass the pit exit, we also pass Irvine, placing us up into P11. Towards the end of lap 8, we finally managed to pass Fisichella, and so we are now in 10th. And by the looks of it, there are a few cars in the pit which will give us a few easy places. On lap 10, as we try to put some distance between us and Fisichella, Alesi is having engine problems. And that is one less car to worry about. Here is a replay of Alesi and his failing engine. We can clearly see some smoke coming from his engine as he stops right in the middle of the track, almost causing the McLaren to hit him. But let us concentrate on our own race and see if we can get back up into 4th, where we were before we pitted. We are now coming up on a lapped car, so he should pull over and let us through. With a few more cars in the pit, we climb back up into 5th and we are now chasing down Michael Schumacher. Then, on lap 11, Michael is having trouble with his car. And we can just about see him as he plows into the tire walls. I wouldn't like to be in his shoes right now, but it is good for us that he won't score any points. Anyway, let's see what happened. And here we have Schumacher, who seems to be having difficulty slowing down his car as he enters the corner, and ends up in the barrier, giving us 4th position. Too bad for the German driver, but for us, the race still continues and so we have to stay vigilant. But now on lap 11, we start to catch up to Irvine, who is almost 3 seconds ahead of us, and we can see him just as he leaves the pit. A little bit later, we manage to reel him in enough to try and overtake him, and we are now 3rd, so let's see if we can keep this position. On lap 14, as we struggle to keep Irvine behind, Badoer is having engine problems. And here we have Badoer as he is approaching turn 1. He goes off the track and into the gravel trap. And that is it for the Minardi driver. Back to our race, we still have Irvine breathing down our neck, not giving us even a second to relax. But as we come around to the final corner of the race, with Irvine on our gearbox, we managed to cross the line in 3rd place. That's a podium finish for us, something we didn't have too much of in this season. So now, it's time to pack up and leave for the brand new circuit in Malaysia. Well, it was back in '99 anyway. Don't go away just yet though, I still have a few things I want to talk about. But before that, let's have a look at the standings.
That was an absolutely breathtaking European Grand Prix. Here are the final results. Mika Hakkinen first. David Coulthard second. The Jordan driver third. Eddie Irvine fourth. Ralf Schumacher fifth. Barichello sixth. With the results confirmed, it's high time we updated the Drivers' Championship. Mika Hakkinen moves further ahead in the Drivers' Championship.
Coulthard second, Michael Schumacher third, we are fourth, Irvine fifth, Hill sixth, Barichello seventh, Ralf Schumacher eighth, Panis ninth, Fisichella 10th, Villeneuve 11th, Trulli and Gene share 12th, Wurz 13th, Herbert 14th.
McLaren move further ahead at the top of the Constructors' Championship. Ferrari are second, followed by the third place Jordan.
Stewart 4th, Williams 5th, Prost 6th, Benetton 7th, B.A.R 8th, Minardi 9th. That's pretty much it for the race, but before I go, I'd like to take a bit of time and explain how the voting will work. First off, the voting will last until midnight of the 15th of May. That is 12 p.m. CET Central European Time or 11 p.m. GMT Greenwich Mean Time. So now for the voting itself. You can vote for any team you want. It can be your favorite team or it can be a team you think might take me in based on my results during the season, or if you want, you can give me a challenge by choosing a smaller team like Arrows or Minardi. And if you really want to, you can even pick the driver I should replace for that team. However, do keep in mind that the driver will have to be in the team you choose. So, for example, you can't choose McLaren as a team and Barichello as a driver because that simply won't work. Barichello drove for Ferrari, not McLaren. But if you do decide to also choose a driver, then for example, something like this would work. Williams as a team and Ralf Schumacher as a driver I should replace. That will work because, well, Ralf Schumacher did indeed drive for Williams in 2000. So in short, Williams and Ralf Schumacher is a good choice, McLaren and Rubbens Barichello is a bad choice. Now for the tricky part, that is the way in which I will deal with a tie. So for instance, let's say that Williams gets 10 votes and Prost also gets 10 votes. Well, in this case, I will simply pick the team that scored the least amount of points in the 2000 season. In our example, it would be Prost. The same rule applies to the drivers as well. So if let's say Jaguar comes out, we know that Eddie Irvine and Pedro De La Rosa drove for the team in 2000. And in this case as well, I will choose the driver with the least amount of points in the season. And in this case, it would be De La Rosa. Well, what if the teams that have been chosen or the drivers that have been chosen haven't scored any points at all during the season? In this case, I will be looking at the team or the driver that was ranked lower in the standings overall. So, if the chosen teams would be Prost and Minardi, both of which haven't scored any points during the 2000 season, I would choose to drive for Prost because they were ranked lower in the standings overall. The same goes for the drivers. However, considering how small this channel is, I'm not going to worry too much about ties. And in fact, I would be quite surprised to see more than just a handful of votes. So to recap, the team can be whichever you want, but the driver will have to be one that drove for the team in 2000, except if the driver was a mid-season change, which the game doesn't support. And to make things easier for you guys, in the description box below, I will include the teams and the drivers that were present in the 2000 season according to the game. And finally, you have until the 15th of May to submit your votes. I think that pretty much covers everything I had to say. And I'm sorry if this video seems a bit longer than usual, but I had to tell you how everything will work. Anyway, join me next time when we'll be heading off to Malaysia for round 15 of the season. Until then, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, stay sharp.